Hi there, Sam here. So today I'm doing a video in regards to unconditional acceptance and how it's helped me in the OCD recovery journey. So first of all, what is it? So unconditional acceptance, whether that be self, other or life, is exactly what it says on the tin. You're accepting yourself no matter what. You're accepting yourself, you're accepting other people, you're accepting life unconditionally, no matter what. Okay, so first of all, acceptance is an agreement. So if you apply unconditional self-acceptance, you may dislike the trait about you, you may dislike the act, you may dislike how you've performed in that area, you may have been incompetent, acted badly, you may dislike that, you may hate it, you may condemn it. But as long as you're not hating yourself, condemning yourself as a person, so you're saying I may have performed a bad act, however that does not make me a bad person. If that was the case, then a bad person could never perform a good act, nor could a good person ever perform a bad act. So you're saying you're separating the act to the person. Okay, so that act may be bad, but that doesn't make the person bad. Okay, unconditional other acceptance is where you may dislike how someone else, some of their views, some of their opinions, some of their perspectives, you may not agree with it, you may hate it. However, you're not saying they're totally bad because of their bad views, or because I dislike their views, that they're an awful person, they deserve to be punished, etc., etc. And that with OCD, that is crucial, because if you're writing people off because of this, because of that, then you're setting yourself up for emotional trouble. OCD knows that. OCD is going to latch on to that. And same with life, unconditional life acceptance. You may not, like I say, acceptance is an agreement. So your life conditions may be bad. If you come from a sort of poverty area, that might be very unfortunate, very, very difficult, challenging conditions to live. However, you're not writing life off totally as bad. This part of my life is bad, however I can still enjoy myself in those areas. So just because one part of your life is bad doesn't make your whole life bad. Okay, so that's sort of what it is, and my understanding of unconditional acceptance. I know Albert Ellis talks about it in The Myth of Self-Esteem quite a bit, goes into detail of breaking it down, of how it works and how it makes sense, how it's philosophical. So if we move on to how it's helped me on my journey. Now, mainly I've been suffering with guilt-related themes. Anything, as you could say, cheating OCD, POCD, harm OCD, real event, false memory OCD, anything OCD can latch onto where it makes you feel guilty, makes you feel that you should be punished, that you don't deserve a minute's peace, you can't be left off the hook. That's how OCD's got me. So I think that's why unconditional acceptance has been absolutely vital for me. Because if I'm separating, so let's use an example as real event or false memory. So whatever you may have done in the past, whatever you may do in the future, false memory, whatever OCD is telling you you've done or telling you this happened, you separate you from that. So that might be bad, however that does not make me a bad person. You're not writing yourself off. Like I said before, if you're writing yourself off with OCD, it's going to latch onto that, it's going to love that. So that's how it's got onto the guilt-relating themes. POCD, you're saying that's bad. Rather than saying you'll be a totally bad person written off for life, you may completely condemn that or completely dislike that. However, you're a person, you can learn from your errors, you can learn from your mistakes. Even if you were, you're accepting yourself even if you were. I'm not saying I'm totally awful, I can't enjoy a minute's peace. So just going into examples of where unconditional self-acceptance has helped me along my OCD recovery journey. So mine mainly is anything guilt-related themes. That's what's got me big time. That's what's led me to getting help, because that chronic guilt latched on, not letting you off the hook, not letting you have that minute's peace, that you deserve to be punished for the rest of your life, that you can't possibly enjoy yourself, not possible. That's how I felt. So let's give an example theme. So real event, false memory OCD. So OCD could be absolutely convincing you did this, You did this bad act, you did this poor act, you did this immoral act, you did this wrong act. Anything OCD can convince you of. False memory, it can convince that's happened. So this is where unconditional acceptance is absolutely vital, where you're separating yourself from the act you think you may have committed, or you think you have committed, whatever OCD is telling you. So that act may be bad, you may strongly condemn the act. Acceptance is an agreement, so you dislike, you're not agreeing with the act. However, you're not writing yourself off as a person. So the act may be bad, however, that does not mean you're a bad person. Like I said before earlier in this video, if you were a bad person, that means you can never ever perform good. Okay, you're a human that exists, who can perform many good acts, many bad acts, many neutral acts. Okay, so just by me applying that thinking that, okay, that act may be an immoral act, however, that does not make me an immoral person. Okay, if I applied that belief all the time, no wonder OCD's latched on fully, properly guilty. Okay, you've done this bad, you've done that poor. Okay, that means you can never correct yourself. You can never learn from your mistakes. You can never learn from your errors. That's it. You're totally doomed. Okay, and that sort of thinking had me in serious emotional trouble. Constant rumination, constant thinking over the real event, false memory. Oh God, I'm trying to think of all these different angles. However, the key was that unconditional acceptance. Accepting yourself, even if it was true. Okay, that's a bad act. However, you're not a bad person. You can learn from those mistakes. Okay. Let's say another theme: cheating OCD. So cheating OCD has had me quite bad. It still pokes its head up now and then. And is it okay if I did cheat? I wouldn't agree with it. I'd regret it. It'd be very sad. However, that does not make life totally awful. I'm not a person that can learn from that. Yes, I regret it. However, I can still enjoy myself. I can still enjoy other aspects of life. And then life would just sort of carry on. Your life's not over just because let's say you cheated and your partner's absolutely distraught. Your life isn't over. Like I said, it's very sad, very upsetting. However, that's not it. POCD, Harm OCD. So if Harm OCD and POCD, let's say you had an intrusive thought, you had a bad thought. Okay, but if you apply the unconditional acceptance, with me the thoughts tend to lower. Okay, well, even if that did happen, I could accept myself unconditionally. I may dislike it, but I wouldn't hate myself as a person. It wouldn't make me a bad person. I'd just dislike that thing. I'd condemn it, but it does not write me off completely. Okay, so that's really how unconditional acceptance has helped me. I don't really know how to go into much more detail, really. If you understand it, if you read a few books on the reading list, and there's lots of other books about unconditional acceptance, Albert Ellis covers it very well, then it's applying it. So you can read it and say, okay, I understand what's being said, but it's applying it to your thinking is the main thing, applying it to your OCD. So whatever OCD is, whatever you might be triggered by, whatever is latched onto, what I've done, I tend to look. So if I'm feeling quite triggered or quite anxious, I'm going, okay, so what can I accept about that? Okay, I disagree with it, but what can I accept? Okay, so look, I'm writing myself off as a person. That's where I'm getting in trouble there. So okay, let's separate myself from whatever the fault is about, with these guilt relating. Okay, so it says, let's say, boom, you cheated. Okay, okay, so that would be, I wouldn't like that. Okay, but I know I could live with myself. I know that's not me. That's not my life over. I could regret the act. However, I can still learn from that mistake. I can learn from the error, and I can learn to enjoy myself and live as long as possible, and not being in that constant panic and guilt that it will latch onto, with the conditional acceptance. Okay, now conditional acceptance is how everyone's brought up. This is why unconditional acceptance needs to be learnt. You can't just read a book and all of a sudden that's it, you're fine. I mean, these are tools for life as well. With OCD, if I didn't have OCD, I would never have learnt these tools. So I'm grateful for that. So yeah, unconditional acceptance works with any role in life. It's just with OCD, it's so extreme, it's so intensified. That's why I think it needs to be applied, because you could use it for anything. You can use it, let's say, for work, just day-to-day work. So you let's say your boss is giving orders, or you think your colleague's acting in a way you don't agree with. Okay, I don't agree with that. However, I'm not writing them off. I can still, as long as you don't take it too seriously, and be completely, they're a terrible person because they think that, or that they deserve to be punished for that, or you're saying, okay, that's their views, and you're unconditionally accepting them with that views. They're just a person, they got perspective shaped for whatever reason, and same with life. So let's say all these difficulties and frustrations that happen in life, no matter what walk of life you're going to come across frustrations. That's just a fact. So it helps me better prepared if something really unfortunate did happen to me or my family, or to anything around me. So I could be better prepared. I could go, okay, that is bad. That's a very sad thing. However, that's my whole total life isn't sad. It might be bad at this time, or because of that, I do feel life is quite bad at the minute. But it doesn't mean it's going to be forever bad. It doesn't mean you can't improve, can't enjoy life in the future. So it's just applying it to your thinking, okay? And I really would recommend it. Give it a go. And like I said, it's not going to come overnight. OCD still pops its head out with me, and I just know I've got that unconditional acceptance. I've got that I can relearn it. So I find sometimes if I'm just getting on with life and living life and enjoying myself, I can sometimes slip into my old irrational conditional acceptance, which I know OCD loves, because how can I get him there? You wouldn't accept that, you wouldn't accept this, boom, straight in with a thought, straight in with a real event, false memory, anything that can sort of distract me and get my attention away. So when I tend to have a relapse or a setback, I nail down main thing, unconditional acceptance. Okay, what am I not accepting myself? Am I acceptances and agreements, and what can I not agree with? But am I writing myself off as a person? All right. So yeah, that's mainly it. Yeah, I've got not much more to say on unconditional acceptance. I've probably gone round in circles as I usually do, but I really try and get my point across, and not leave sort of things quite confused, or what does he mean. I try and sort of really, like I said, get my point across and repeat myself exactly what I'm doing now. Okay, so yeah, I haven't done a video on this channel for a while. I'm going to try and do some more videos, because I'm sort of working on myself as well, and also I like to get my knowledge out there. And I'm also I'll most likely improve whilst doing these videos, and I've hopefully people find them very helpful. Okay, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.